Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show where we were talking about buying a bidet so you can save that toilet paper, save them trees, and keep your ass clean. So,
yeah, they thought bottle caps were the currency of the apocalypse. It's TP.
Yeah, well, Neil has actually let me know about the Streamer's bidet. Streamer's bidet is well, first of all, has a solid jet stream that's warmed for you, so it's nice and comfortable. But it also has a camera built into it, so you can stream your experience. So, Neil, you said you like that.
Sounds like something you would buy.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
I was like, well, Scott seems really clued in on this streamer bidet, though. It's a bit of a weird net. Oh, it's got a camera.
He's preparing for his OnlyFans page.
Oh, yes, Scott.
It's weird. Moving on.
This is the only way that Scott can move forward with his career as a streamer and not lose out on revenue. He's going to have to cut out the hospitality work, and he's going straight into OnlyFans. There is a niche in the market for bearded men of marriageable age.
Marriageable? Isn't marriageable 18 plus?
Depends on which state you're in. Yeah.
So creepy.
Oh dear,
depends on if you're in Texas or not.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's move that aside. I am uncomfortable.
Josh is unfortunately factually has COVID-19. Our hearts go out to Josh. Unfortunately, what they don't tell you about in the media is COVID-19 affects your cerebral cortex and brainal power abilities. And Josh is.
Did you just say brainal? COVID affects your brainal power abilities.
He's asking for beard mayonnaise. If everybody could please donate to Josh some beard mayonnaise so that he can smear it on, he would appreciate that.
I was genuinely wondering where you were going with that again. I thought, oh, maybe he's actually doing like a nice heartfelt message. Oh, never mind.
Yes, Scott.
He's known for all those hearts. All right, moving on.
Let's get back to your shit show.
Yeah, your shit show. Okay, mine's together. All right. Where were we? Oh, yes. So you go back upstairs. Jake, did you want to have anything else, or are we flashing forward to... Nope. Cool. So it is now time of the feast. The feast be upon us. Kalima. And the feast, of course, we've done this, I think, once before in Kurzfall. So it's not the first time you guys have done this. It's just a little bit more disorganized than it was in the past because the sheer number of people has increased greatly. The people that don't have homes right now has increased greatly. Luckily, the weather has been kind of forgiving, short springtime, so there's a lot of rain. But you guys are under the canopy of a bunch of trees, which is nice. You've opened the doors to your castle, as was said beforehand, to make sure many people can stay inside the first level of your castle and so on and so forth. But obviously kept out of important rooms like your own personal bedrooms, the war room, whatever you want to call it, council room, and the other key areas. Like, let's not be stupid here. And lots of neighbors have opened their rooms and whatnot to those that they can aid. Either way, the feast is going fairly well. I mean, people are just happy to have the food, to rejoice, to enjoy the moment. You guys all know that there's more stuff looming over you, but at least you can enjoy the moments for the moment. So, totally not an analogy to us enjoying this campaign despite all the coronavirus.
Excuse me, someone has just knocked on my door. I'll be one moment.
It's the police. You stayed inside? I was. Looks like you opened your door.
I've broken the law.
It's like, I'd shoot you, but it's England. Anyways, so moving on.
I love that fucking, for some reason, your English cop is like a fucking American gangster. Just like fucking, I'd shoot you, but it's England.
Well, while we're so we know that Neil is, of course, going to give a bit of a speech here. Were you guys aiding in the speech in any way, and how were you aiding in that speech when it transpires?
I don't think I have any spells that can help him, unfortunately.
I had a little
could do
delivery of
lights.
Q. Sorry about that.
I could do like prestidigitation and do like behind him.
Yeah, sorry, it was someone at the door asking for toilet paper. Had to beat him away with a stick.
See, now if you had a shotgun, like,
I'd be like,
They'd
what am I
also,
going to
they'd
do with
also
this?
come to the door with a shotgun.
I'm going to be like, what am I going to do with this mess on my doorstep? And I'll be like, no worries, got hundreds of rolls of toilet paper.
how are you guys going to enhance his speech in any way whatsoever?
Sorry, what was that?
How are you guys going to enhance his speech, if in any way? This is to the Aussies.
I don't think Valorant would be able to. Especially not at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, Valorant sits there with a glower look on his face the entire time.
I would give a note that as far as whenever he's in the public eye, he is acting exactly the same as he did before.
Okay.
But he's not going out of his way to talk to the others, and he's avoiding not being in the public eye, sort of thing. He's avoiding going off into private sort of areas and stuff.
Okay. I understand that entirely, but we are going to have to roll me an individual. I suppose this is a type of deception, but a bluff check for you to try to socially hide your emotions.
Bluff's actually not too bad, but my rolling, on the other hand, we'll see. 5. Well, 13 is not too bad.
You crippled under the pressure. You see what happened was Iron Monkey 222 said, "Our office is watching you. All. We're obviously very busy here. You are the best we've got."
That last
I'm
sentence,
so sorry for your office
we've
sake.
got. And we're like,
I'm sorry you have to settle.
Today.
Our office is watching you all. He's like,
Scott, they want Scott, they want entertainment. What are you doing? Professional streamer. My God.
No, he's
I'm
I
so
knew
sorry.
it was going
I'm
there.
so sorry. But please clip that. Please. That has to be clipped.
I'm sorry.
Scott, can you believe you just did that on Twitch TV? At what point in your career did you think, I'm going to dance around a pole for random people on the internet?
No, the worst part is at some point in time, my daughter's going to see these clips. Like, it exists forever. And she's going to be like, I know why you hid me from the internet, Dad.
Iron Monkey made a mistake by informing us. I apologize.
My God. Yeah. Iron Monkey is like, oh yeah, this is the stream I watch. It's kind of cool. It's about like a fantasy world. Q Scott dancing around a pole, and we're like, he's like, it's not usually like this, I swear.
I swear.
Except it is. It is.
I remember Ollie used to have to explain that to his mom. He'd be like, no, he's not usually like that, Mom. He's not a bad guy, I swear. She's like, I don't know if I like that Scott guy. Oh, so funny.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, you obviously do the best you can to, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that, you know, some people are like, are things okay? You know, the two of them can clearly see from across. I mean, one, it's like,
He would, whenever that sort of happens, he would just be like, I'm just tired and relieved it's over.
and of course, you're doing the best you can to cover up for this. Jake, what is Grishka doing to aid in any way?
You still haven't told him that that's what you're calling him now.
It was more of an internal thing. Like, he kind of said it out aloud, but it's, you know, he doesn't feel the need to go and tell every person.
No,
this, that,
it's
the
more
other.
a fact of just like, I imagine you were planning on telling him in the meeting, and then just that did not go as planned.
No, that probably went better than planned. Maybe. I mean, that wasn't.
There were no fireballs chucked, so success.
Yeah,
Fair point.
Call it a win. I think
No, he would just stand by Rayron and depending on what he says, he would, obviously praise Reed for all coming safely, and just, promise to rebuild Reed, and just kind of echo what whatever Rayburn says.
And
praise our soldiers.
Varen would make a note of being there for the speech and acting like sitting next to him and being there for the speech. Like, he's not gonna. He knows that if you were to like not do that at this point in time, it's a detriment to the people, sort of thing.
Imagine Val sitting there with a polite smile on his face as the speech starts, and then somebody else takes like a popsicle stick with shit on it and just slowly puts it underneath his nose. And
what the fuck? What?
Neil, it's all you.
Your
buddy.
brain is a mystery to me.
My brain's a mystery to my wife, my mother, my brother.
Oh dear, Scott.
What's up?
Rowan would stand, raise a glass, whatever the beverage. Yeah, Scott's clearly the supply of Scott's pills are gone. Rowan would stand and he'd be holding his beverage, whatever it is. I don't know, beer, wine, I don't care. But I do. It would be wine. And he would say, "We celebrate tonight a free Adir, and we mourn tonight those who died to make it so. We stand here together as one people, not two people, not three. Although there are many of you who originally hailed from different towns, we can now say that we are one people. That is the future of Adir. We have stood together as allies, as friends, as families, and we have thrown off the shackles of our oppressors. And now before us we see the road. It leads to a golden future of commerce, of peace, of prosperity. If you would raise a glass with me, though it would not be a glass, obviously. Perfect. We will pay thanks to those who have died, fought, wounded, and worked towards our goal. A free Adir and the victorious dead." He'd raise his mug cup.
Rowland would join. And I'm assuming one would as well, but we don't know because one mysteriously passed out. He drank a little too much. He's just...
And I am so sorry. I'm getting so many text messages right now. I got to make a quick phone call because work apparently can't figure itself out at 11:26 in the morning with a whole bunch of full-grown adults. So I need to teach adults how to be adults for a second. 1 second.
I pray that your colleagues watch this.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Just like next time he goes in there, like
I keep the two lives separate so nobody there knows what I do. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I think I told you, Neil, there was a time where because I work on sad days, and
Yes.
there was an issue with our server, our internet server not working, and a room full of kids trying to access the internet, not being able to access the internet. It was bad. But so we called support and tried to get it fixed, and then it did get fixed, and then it broke itself again, and they were looking at how to fix it properly. And then I hear nothing else. We finish the session, we leave. Monday morning at 8:30 a.m., I get a phone call. "Hello, is this Nick? Are you still in the office?" "No, I'm not."
Yes, I stayed here all night, actually.
2 nights. This is Sunday, and this is Monday morning.
Funny you should ask. Yes, I'm right behind you.
Okay, well, can you confirm if it was fixed? No, I'm not in the office. Well, are you going to the office anytime today? No, I'm only in the office on Saturdays. So you can't confirm if it's working or not? No, what time did the fix implement? It says time. Okay, well, that's after the session was ending, so I can't actually confirm whether it worked or not. Okay, we'll put it down as solved. Have a nice day. Click. And they hang up. I'm like, how do you know it's solved? Why don't you call someone at the office? What the fuck?
To be fair, I have a bad habit of I check my work emails when I'm at home. So I checked my work emails the other day, and this was actually like a month or something ago. And I put in a job for a team to fix, and they emailed me being like, "We need further details." So I was like, "Fuck it, I want this to be sorted by the time I go back." So I rang them up, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, here's all the details." And they were like, "None of that was written down by the call center operative." And I was like, "Yes, I know. Actually, I knew this was going to happen because I explicitly said you need to put these details down, and they didn't." And I was like, "Please, can you make sure that these are down?" They were like, "Whatever." And I was like, "Okay, fine. I'll just do your job. It's fine." Most of the time, like, those people are lovely and fine, but like, God.
So my parents' internet, I fought with them for an entire year to get a problem fixed. But so what the most infuriating part of it was, we had a technician come and test. They have different like profiles they apply to lines, and one of them is the stability profile. They when they see fluctuations, they apply it to make it more stable. It like slows it down a little bit, that sort of thing. Whenever they applied the stability profile, our internet stopped, like full on, flat out stopped.
Nice.
They didn't believe us. So when a technician came, I asked him to test himself. He got them to apply the stability profile and saw that the connection just stopped. And then he's like, "Okay, I'll put a note on your account that not to put the stability profile." 8 times after that, I had to call up and ask them to remove the stability profile and to put a note on my account to not put the stability profile on.
It's so annoying. You don't. I struggle to understand these things.
Yeah, and the best part was the final solution was when a technician got sent, and I approached him when he was coming up, and I said, "Okay, look, this is everything that's happened. We've had technicians out for this many times before. Here's what they did. He was like, no," and he's like, "Oh, they didn't tell us any of that." I'm not sure.
It's been gone for ages.
Yeah, so the technician was he was like, "Oh, okay, tell me all the details," and like, "Well, this is all the stuff," and he's like, "Huh, that sounds like it's a problem at the exchange." And I was like, "Yes, that's what I've been trying to tell them. I'll just, I'll go check it." So he goes and checks the exchange. Our wire wasn't soldered on. A year of trying to figure out what was wrong, and them claiming it was with us, and us being like, "No, it's not." And it was literally that the wire was like put in place and wrapped, but not soldered. So every now and then it would like tap off. It's like, fucking, oh my god.
So I'm sorry.
TPG. If you're in Australia, do not get TPG. Never get TPG.
Okay.
They're cheap, but they're cheap for a reason.
Wow.
I was going to make a Chris Allen joke, but she's not here to defend herself because she's a fictional character. So you, sir, after giving your speech, could you give me a... he's back!
He lives.
Yeah. Not this day. Could you roll me your diplomacy check there, boyo, for the speech you choose to give?
Sure. Well, you know what? I'd have obviously done that before.
1 minute or level until discharge. I imagine it's like one of those. He goes, in the name of Lady Arenda.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, let's re-roll that.
You didn't roll yet.
I did.
Well, then roll again, and eventually it'll update for us. There we go. See both.
Yeah.
Must be the money. Do you want to modify that? And Jake, please remind me what your character said he was doing. I'm so sorry. I had a phone call myself. So, what was your character doing to aid him in any way? I'm so sorry.
if required, he was just reiterating certain points and more. He was letting Rayron kind of take the lead, but
he was there like
I know what he was doing.
So he's like the people over there, you people. I just want to give to you.
He's like my hype man.
Yeah.
So could you roll me a diplomacy check, you, to make sure they give him a +2?
Oh, I love that.
DC 10.
How much luck do we have? Did someone roll luck?
Hold on 1 second.
Hey.
You actually give him a +3. You should give him a +3. That's pretty.
I think we should luck, because if we hit a DC 13,
yeah.
this is going to have benefits for the kingdom, because all the people that read it.
Do it.
Fucking.
Is that 29? Did we get 29?
25 plus 3 is 29, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, one's like, I could have just done this myself. All right.
That's such a cuck.
I mean, that's how we usually describe you.
Anyway, moving on.
So you sir are give the speech, and the people rejoice. They have a fantastic evening. They have a fantastic meal. The money on the tables, like left, like it wasn't known. Nobody knew this was happening, except for a very select few persons that were in charge. You know, it's a good thing Edric's not here, because he probably would just straight up have an aneurysm and die. But then as people are like slowly going to leave the feast, they're like, before you leave, make sure you swing by, and I assure you it's worth your while. And they all walk by guards, and word spreads. And everybody that walks by, and this isn't just the people of Kurzfall and the people of Rid. These are the refugees. Everybody gets a small little sack, pouch, whatever you want to call it, purse of silver coin to get them.
And that's equivalent to like a +2. So hit that 30. I'm sorry. Carry on. That was unprofessional of me. Excuse me. I need to take a phone call. We'll ignore the fact that I just had to get the door. But
it's my turn next.
Yeah, I know. Like, seriously, never mind. So you give the speech. Everything goes swimmingly. It's actually an incredible evening. You can see the people of yours, the advisors of yours that are here, are all having a grand time. Arthur, Elliot, Kithul, though he's stone-faced as always, Landor, who chooses to spend his time amongst the people, but otherwise will sit up there at the appropriate times. They're all having an incredible time. That's here. You even see Hansa and Retrock, Glugmug, are actually about and having a good time as well. Glugmug, like, I made these barrels! And everybody's having a grand time. But then somebody else actually chooses to come up and approach the three of you. Though I don't know how much what's his name is really paying attention.
Leon, don't run the vibe.
Wait, not Leon. Oh, my apologies. Leon is kind of quietly sitting there and observing everything. He was served a beverage. You know he took sips of said beverage. You don't
Sitting there
know...
sipping it with his feet up on one of his captain's backs as they're like on all fours in front of him. Damn, he's a changed man. Drogar, cruel.
So anyways, so he sipping a beverage. You don't believe he ever finished that beverage that was given to him. He answers to people that speak to him. Doesn't go out of his way to speak to anybody in particular or anything like that. He's cordial, but more obviously distanced than Valorant is. So there are two of your leadership that are noticeably distant out of everybody, right? But actually, a woman comes up to speak to you guys. She's actually a human woman comes up to speak to you guys. I mean, if there is... Oh, sorry, my apologies. A Perrin woman comes up to speak to you guys. If there's a way to describe her, it's stunning. I mean, she stands at... she's a tall, kind of lanky woman, being, of course, Perrin. She's probably at... In American terms, sorry. She's probably standing at like a nice like 5'8", 5'9".
She's taller than you then.
No, 5'8", 5'9". She's actually wearing pretty nice clothing, all things considered, but clearly we're talking about nice for like a commoner sort of clothing, all things considered. The way that her hair and her face and everything are done up, the way that she presents herself, you can clearly tell that she is somebody who is well practiced beyond the stature of somebody who's wearing garb of this caliber that's on her. Is something very much noticed very, very, very quickly. And she actually finds her way up to the table, as some people choose to do so, because obviously you guys are trying to be open and welcoming to all of your persons. And she will actually, as she approaches and you guys like acknowledge her or whatever, be like, excuse me, Chosen, I thought I'd take an opportunity to come by and introduce myself to you.
Welcome to the feast. I don't believe that I've made your acquaintance before. He would like look to whoever is next to him, whether it's Chosen or an advisor, like doing that.
Nobody around seems to know who she is. And she shakes her head and says, unfortunately, there wasn't an opportunity for me to have presented myself to you prior to these past weeks. I myself am also a refugee. I found my way to the comforts and the home of Rid and now Kurzfall, having been protected by from the onslaughts that was brought forward by the peoples of Haude Gwenh. I wanted to come up here and to give my thanks for what it was that you have done for myself and all of the persons around me, and to introduce myself to you, since, as I had said prior, I haven't had the opportunity to do so. She'll extend her hand if you choose to take it, and she introduces herself as, my name is Ravina Kovel.
Whoa. Whoa.
Christ almighty. Oh, sense motive. So one of the things that
You think it was an attack roll?
yeah, I was like, what is that roll that happened? Sense motive, natural 20. That's a beautiful roll there. Tesh? No, 1, of course.
Me.
What was the name?
Me.
Ravina?
Oh, Wherein. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking colors.
Different number of letters. That's the way you can tell it apart.
What were you saying, Tesh?
It was Ravina. What was the last name?
Kovel, Covel.
Curvel.
Correct.
Cool. Thank you.
Ravina, was it? Ravina Corval?
Kovel.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm glad that you were able to make it here. And welcome.
Marion would shake the hands.
She does an ever so slight, kind of like a combination between a curtsy and a bow, but again, it's very practiced, what it is that she's doing. Either way, what it is she actually, when you are reading her, one of the things you get off of her, Neil, is this is a woman who's incredibly practiced at what it is that she is saying to you, how she's presenting herself, so on and so forth. You think that literally every part of this encounter that has been put forward before you is something that she has chosen, picked carefully, timing and everything. You get this kind of precision from like the read of how she's approaching you and all this stuff. The one thing that you honestly think that seems very much out of place, so out of place that it probably wasn't her choice, is literally the clothing that she's wearing. You believe she actually is, in fact, to a degree or another, a refugee. Somebody that was, in fact, she seems to be honest. But there's no denying that her words are selected.
Also, she's Perrin, which are pretty rare in a deer normally, aren't they?
Yes, they're pretty rare. They exist here, but they're one of the more rare.
They're
races,
rare,
correct?
Well, I wish we could have saved you from having to become a refugee twice. Now, we have an evening to spend. We are obviously here to be thanked, but that is very kind of you to do so. It is important for us to hear the stories of our people. Perhaps you could share with us yours.
I honestly would love to do so. I would love an opportunity to have an audience with the Chosen, if I may be so bold as to ask for such an audience at a time when perhaps it's a bit more private. I find your nation here to be, while small and beginning, to be beautiful in its approach and its mentality. I'm looking forward to an opportunity to speaking with the three of you.
I see no reason why we couldn't accommodate this.
Indeed.
I thank you again. I just knew that this was an opportunity that I can actually come forward and make such a request.
Just one question. If I was to compare you to something, you would be a beautiful piece of art, a painting, but with a rather poor frame. Who are you?
If I may, I would like to discuss such things in privacy.
Very well. In which case, please enjoy the evening. Help yourself to the food and the small amount of wealth that is on offer. Perhaps it will help to alleviate some of your burdens.
She nods and thanks and says, "Again, I'd be looking forward to meeting with the three of you shortly." And she'll kind of again give that like bow, and then we'll turn and leave, having introduced herself. And again, it's one of those things where, not to get all creepy looty-dooty here, but like when she walks off, there's no changing the fact that she's a stunning person. So whether or not your character happens to be attracted to that physique, you can't deny the fact that it is quite the physique. You know, she's somebody that catches the eye. So
I just love that chat exploded when you said that line about the frame and everything. Chat was like, "What?" It was great. They didn't know how to handle it. Which honestly, fair enough. That was good.
We all know that Josh has written some fanfic before, milady.
Yeah, me and Josh have actually written some fanfic together. Me and Josh have written some fanfic together.
No, he writes it, you act it, and Jake works the camera. So you guys, the evening goes very well. Obviously, who gets crump?
You know what? Valorem would.
Rayron's been out in a field covered in blood, murdering many, many people for several months now. I think he would have a little bit too much wine. He wouldn't like...
We're all getting drunk.
He wouldn't like lose control, but you know, he's quite carefully selected words and mannerisms, and it's a little sloppy.
Yeah, no, I think in this situation, Val probably would lose a bit of control and probably drink a bit too much.
Really? Okay. Well then.
Yeah.
Cool. So
I would mention he'd be the type of drunk that would just want to keep drinking, not the type of drunk that would be talking to everyone, sort of thing.
So not the belligerent drunk and, wow, these guys sold demons or something.
Not that kind of drunk. No, it'd be the just leave me to my drinking drunk.
Gotcha.
He's like, I will make a martyr of my liver.
So not the Bostonian Australian get really messed up and be loud and annoy everybody on the planet.
Wait, Scott, are you drunk right now?
I only have like two levels of drunk. That doesn't include tipsy. Like I plateau at tipsy for a while, then I get super talkative drunk, and then I'm out.
Huh.
Like just black.
Oh God.
Without tangent.
Those are the only.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
There's a lag between the U.S. and
yeah.
So I was saying, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I've been told that I'm exactly the same drunk as I am sober for the most part. So it's a bad thing. So I've driven way too many times drunk in my youth. It's not a brag. It's horrible. Luckily, I'm well past those years, and nobody ever got hurt. But yeah, it was bad. So
I've only ever done it once, and it was not intentional, and it was a situation where I only realized that I was in fact drunk when I started to feel myself sobering up afterwards, and all I could think about was how fucking stupid I was.
So that happened to me after my drinking years had finally passed. There was one time where I went out for a couple of beers after work with somebody, and I literally had 2 tall beers, which isn't that much, but I was so many years removed from my drinking years that when I was driving home, I was like, oh my God, this is a fucking... And now I'm like super cautious all the time, hard cut off.
Yeah, exactly. Mine was, I was driving someone home because she didn't feel safe because someone else was constantly hitting on her. Mm-hmm. So I drove her home, and then only then did I realize that I was still drunk from the night before.
Next time she has that complaint, tell Jake he can stand up for himself. So, anyways, the next morning, obviously, not immediately that morning, but probably like one of those high noon, you meet with your advisors. That way everybody has the appropriate time to recover, get into the correct mindset, so on and so forth. But do we actually bring your Edric back? Does he return to... Does he come home?
Yeah, we need Edric back. We can't not have a treasurer.
Well, but Edric's the one that's been... Edric 2 and 3, mostly 3, have been the ones watching over the orcs in Haude Gwenh, kind of overseeing...
Yeah, that I was just trying to get through this little bit because obviously we're going to have to go over there, and that's going to be a whole thing in itself. So that's not something that can be fast-tracked.
Yeah. So you're saying leave Edric behind because he needs to handle that other thing, and we'll deal with that later on?
No, Edric needs to come through now because it's teleportation. He can come through and go back.
But when you approach it, it opens a can of worms, he's saying.
It's not something that we can...
Yeah, if we go there, it opens a can of worms.
Sense of expediency, that's what I'm saying. Otherwise, we will have to do that.
But it's so rude to Edric. So we're like, look, we came clean with all the advisors.
We can do it, but it's going to have to be a thing. We're going to have to go there. Unless Scott allows us to just be like, yeah, he just came back and then went.
Oh, I thought he had the keep thing.
Well, sure,
he does.
But there's like a lot that happens in Haude Gwenh, so you're going to have to, like, he's saying it's a can of worms that we...
Yeah, fair
enough. Right, yeah.
But also...
I purposely just left it out just so that we could deal with it properly.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Also think of it this way. Edric doesn't have to deal with, like, how much did you spend? You know what I mean? Like, so, so it's all good.
He does need to deal with that.
Yeah, he will soon. So... Good. All right, anyways... You guys can call your advisors meeting with everybody except for Sans Edric. So why don't you pull up anybody who hasn't yet, including Scott, your advisor, like who's in what position, so you can kind of remember who you're talking to about what.
Yep, so we'd have Lander, Leon, Arthur, Elliot, and Kithel.
Okay.
So
we also need to have a meeting just with us so we know what we're saying. You know what I mean? We have to inform Val.
That's true, yeah. So we'd have all the chosen come together first and they'd come after. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that sounds perfectly fine. That's not abnormal. So you guys gather together inside the room. We'll say probably like it's one of those 10 in the morning. Everybody's had their proper brunch. You're probably even having brunch over the meeting. And then it's cleaned out before you bring the advisors in, right? Which will be a couple hours, like 2 hours later. So you guys are at the meeting. Who's the last one to the meeting? Is Val going to be the last one there?
Depends where I wake up.
No, I think Val would be there early.
Hi, Trini. Val would be there early? Okay. So Val would be there. So everybody kind of gets together in the meeting. Take it away, boys. This isn't a me thing.
Aurorum. As you know, we're calling for a meeting with the advisors.
Indeed.
We're going to discuss with them my decision to kill the leaders of Haude Gwenh in the middle of the night when they couldn't defend themselves. We are not disclosing certain details, as you are well aware would be completely detrimental in the stability of the kingdom at all, but they will be told about the matter and to offer a brief, well, not brief, but to offer an explanation as to why I chose to do what I did, even if it was the wrong thing to do.
For the purposes of this, I agreed. I may not have agreed enough to carry out the act, but I was there, I did not stop it. As such, it is far more important that we tell the advisors that it was our decision. There is no sense to alienate yourself from them.
He would nod at you, and then he'd turn back to Valiant, and he would say again, when we are describing this, like I said, there will be a part that is left out. I believe you're aware of what I'm saying.
There is no need to tell them about the boons or the devils. Although the actions...
They will ask how. I believe probably saying, there is a magic in a deer. There are things that are going on that we don't even understand ourselves. I'm not the best at explaining these type of things, so I'll probably leave that to you.
I doubt any of them would see through it other than Elliot. Unfortunately, he has a rather keen grasp of arcane spellcraft, even if he does not practice it himself.
He's also seen enough of my notes to know which areas have magical interest, and not at least in the areas around our keep.
We found in the keep a teleportation device. Do you remember we used it once? Saved our lives. I
don't think we should get into specifics.
If pressed, we will make mention of that. However, I believe although these boons and their acquisition may be distasteful, keeping them hidden as an ace up our sleeves may yet save some lives.
Whether or not they are used again will be an issue that we will deal with, but the fact that we did use it once, we can't get away from that.
It is done and we must deal with it.
Yes.
Are you in agreement?
There's a long pause. Yes.
And afterwards, I've been putting it off. We must go and see Lady Graris and speak with her.
I've spoken to her already.
Wherein would look alarmed.
Yeah.
I will speak to you about it after we've had this meeting. She's still there, if that's what you're wondering.
Very well.
I would ask that you do the talking.
Well, we're as much telling you as we are them.
I do not believe I would be able to hold up much of a farce, if pressed, at the moment at least. But I will, yes, I will be, part of this.
Then let us summon the advisors and speak with them.
Just to be clear, after you guys are done speaking to the advisors, was the plan to bring Graris up here in front of all the advisors as well, so she may make her case before everyone, or is this meant to be a chosen thing?
This is a chosen thing.
Okay, thank you. So you guys have the guards, go out and fetch each of the advisors for you. And so each of them are going to come in one by one. The first one to come in is, of course, going to be Leon, who's been, of course, awaiting this meeting and wants to shore up details about the war and so on and so forth. He, of course, comes in with various documents and whatnot and a couple of rolled up maps, assisted by one of his lieutenants who come in and place the stuff down. He looks to you, Rayron, and kind of inquires whether or not the lieutenant should stay to take orders or if they should leave because this is a council meeting only.
Council only.
Okay, so they'll kick him out, and the various others will kind of like make their way in again, one by one. The last one to come in is actually Elliot, and you can see that the way Elliot is composing himself, he is actively composing himself. Elliot may have had he may have had a good night last night. Elliot's one of those, it's noon and he still hasn't had a cheeseburger kind of people. You know what I mean? So at least in this instance. So they all kind of make their way in there.
As they're coming in, like before people start coming in, as they start coming in, did that actually? It did proc. It was just not showing up on me. So he would just do detect magic, just look around. Obviously, he knows the magic that's in here pretty well. He's looking for any alterations in it, like just things that are out of place, that sort of thing.
Nope, nothing at all. You know, unless there's a magic item that happens to be on one of your advisors or something like that, but nothing that stands out being strange or unusual or befuddling. And Phaedron, whatever his name is he here for the council meeting as well?
No.
Okay, and I imagine he was not here for the earlier meeting either. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, cool. So the council meeting comes in, and everybody is sitting there. Just to be clear, to set the stage before we actually start the RP, could you please describe for myself and everybody else, kind of like not each other PCs, like kind of viewers and everything, your characters, I suppose, emotional state or mentality as everybody's sitting down, you're getting ready to, I suppose, trepidation or whatever it might be. Whoever can start first.
I think if I was to summarize it, it would be a grim resolve. Wherein doesn't look pleased. He doesn't look displeased. His jaw is set, and there's a sort of steely look to his eyes. I suppose in a way, it's most similar to how you see Leon most of the time. He's not letting his emotions show on this one, or trying not to, but is instead, he's resolved that this needs to be done.
That would be interesting. He'd be trying to have that same resolve, but I don't think he'd be succeeding. I think he'd be like to the populace maybe, but not to the cabinet. They probably see that there's a little something up, but not like he's trying.
Jake.
I would be resolute. He would be stating to Rayrin's right, and he would have a grim look on his face too. But once again, he knows this has to be done. The actions have already been taken, and we're hoping not to lose anybody.
Okay, you said standing. I imagine everybody's going to sit during this meeting. Not to be too what's the word I'm looking for? Camelonian. But you guys do have a rounds table that you generally sit at. Are you guys sitting or standing for this?
Rayrin would stand when he speaks, I think.
Sit when not and stand when speaking. Gotcha. Same for the other two?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Aaron's going to do much speaking, but he'll do the same if he does speak.
One of the things that you notice, Neil, with your sense motive check there, is that obviously as you're looking at the different people coming in, so on and so forth, when you were having the conversation with, what's his name, Tesh, Val, in the meeting prior to this one, you were getting pulses of emotion coming from the sword in your hands, kind of like vibrating up through your hand and into your heart. You can feel sympathy. Not pity, but sympathy for this person, because they are just realizing that their friends, the people that they've chosen to spend over a year with now, they've put their life in the hands of, and vice versa, have been keeping mountainous secrets from him for how long? And he's coming to this full realization all at once. You're feeling ridiculous amounts of sympathy for him being pulsed up through the sword. Similar emotions are actually coming from the sword, though not to the same degree, when Leon comes in. For the first time in a long time, you're actually starting to feel this thing awakening to you. Finally, the meeting is called. Everybody's there. Everybody's sitting. And then I imagine Rayrin and one stand up. And Val, I imagine, stands up as well, at least starting the meeting. And who speaks first?
During wartime, no, let me not begin. First off, let me both congratulate and thank each and every one of you for the effort and the sacrifices that you have all made in both making our city what it is and helping us win the war. That said, we wish to inform you of certain developments that occurred during wartime. Furthermore, we wish to apologize for the fact that we did not consult. We were not able to consult with you prior to this. When our army was camped north of Vigil, Juan and I made the decision to travel to a place of power. We used magics to assassinate each and every one of the Haude Gwenh leaders.
There's a couple of gasps and whatnot about the room, and they have notices that some people almost like want to like whisper to like one another, but they're abstaining. It's such a small crowd; it's not like they can get away with it. Leon's face is steeled.
They were executed and buried in that area. Juan and I took this decision because we felt it would save lives and end the war as quick as possible. We understand, however, some of you may view this as abhorrent. And together we have decided, firstly, we want to inform you all that this has occurred. Secondly, for those of you whom I hold as dear friends, I would like to apologize. And thirdly, should you wish to walk away from the kingdom or your roles, we will not try to stop you.
Anybody else chime in before they choose to speak at all?
Wherein would sit.
Imagine a couple moments later, Val sits down. One
would remain standing.
Nobody says a word while they look at him.
I'm not the best with words. I more do. A lot of the time I do and then think later. Although I don't know if the way that this was handled was correct. I mean, I know why I did it, but the way it was done was probably not right. And like I said to Leon as we marched back, I will take, if you remain, a greater, well, I will I will listen to your counsel and heed it before I make a lot of my decisions in the future. That said, I hope all of you will stay. Although, if you do not, I understand. And I apologize. And then he'll take a seat.
The first one to speak up is actually going to be Arthur. And he says, well, was the war won? Did we save lives? And are we going to make it right? I think the answer to all those questions is yes. And that's all I need to say. Now's the time of rebuilding. I guess to each other as well, and the respect of our people. And that's that. Decision was made, we won. I stand by it. No judgment for me here. Thanks for not getting me killed.
That does break down Ririn's facade a little. Like he's trying not, he's not responding until he says thanks for not getting me killed. And then he has a smirk, and then regains composure.
Elliot's like, I've already said my point when we spoke outside the walls of Vigil. Thank you for informing me when you did. I've already said my piece. Mistakes were made. Own up to the people, he says. And Arthur's like, because he just said the exact opposite. Own up to the people. Anything that's left under the carpet is going to be cleared out one day. Let's mend the wrongs. Take onus for our actions. He looks like he wants to say something else, but then decides it's probably better to stop speaking at the moment because he's a little hungover.
Everyone's eyes in the room just stop talking.
After that is actually going to be, well, we know that Edric's not there. After that will actually be Kithel. Kithel will chime in and say, no, sorry, not Kithel, sorry, Lander chimes in and says, I'm the newest amongst the group here. I came from Yovance. Some or all of you know the history of Yovance and how it is that the nation is run. It's not exactly how I ran things on my lands, but nonetheless, I've seen horrors. I've seen the terrible ways that people choose to govern. I chose not to govern that way. And when I left, I swore to never govern that way. Actions were made throughout this war that I did not appreciate and I don't agree with. I certainly had a mind full of opinions when I heard what transpired after the first combat outside of Rid. The devastation of all those people as they turned tail and ran. I won't lie. At that point in time, I myself thought I would turn tail and I would leave. But there was more before us at the time, so I chose to stay for the benefit of the people. And now this is laying at my feet. I can't be a part of this. And he walks out. Everybody watches him walk out of the room. The door clicks shut behind him. And that's that. After Lander, Kithel
I myself am generally surprised to hear what I have heard this day. I have known you all for a year now, and have served in every way that I thought best for these people. It tears asunder my heart to hear these words.
He looks towards the door, looks back.
I have a mind to follow suit. But I also see here people crying out for guidance to find their way from the darkness that they've led themselves to be. It would be a greater disservice to the people if I were to leave you while you were in your time of need and redemption. I'm disappointed, but I will serve both you and the people. However, I expect that no such thing will continue moving forward. I swear my fealty, as long as my fealty is placed towards something worth swearing to.
And he'll kind of, lean back in his seat. He's so big he doesn't have to stand up. He's kind of like, sits up and people are like, oh, you're a big boy. And then this leads to the final person in the room, which is Leon. Leon himself will stand up. When you found me in the camp that day, I had prepared my belongings. I had every mind of walking the army back here and leaving. I left Paradel for reasons. We've discussed them. I will serve for the benefit of a people, for a greater cause. Tactics such as these disgust me. They're the reasons why I left Paradel. Again, we've discussed this. If I didn't see true redemption from the two of you, then perhaps I still would have walked out the door. But the redemption from the two of you gave me the minds to stay and see how the rest of this played out. And I'll tell you exactly how it played out. Chosen of the Hearth now knows. The lies that you have been telling him for some time have finally been put aside. He is fully aware of the situation, and yet he has not spoken on the matter. I don't know if I'm going to leave or stay yet, but I do know the fact that you finally owned up to him has certainly swayed me towards staying. What is your opinion of this, Valrin?
Honestly, I am upset to hear that it has happened. And if it weren't for the fact that I have known these two long enough to know that they intended well. They did it not for themselves, but for the people, even if it was something that I do not agree with, and I believe was definitely the wrong choice. It was done with the intent of saving lives. Now, I don't think that forgives it, and I don't think they believe it forgives it. They don't think they want it to be that forgives it. But I think it does give context. It was a terrible mistake. And one they should have come forth earlier about. But as I said, if I did not know them, I did not know that they meant well, I do not know how I would handle this. But I believe they truly want to right this. And so I forgive them for that.
Our borders are not solid. Our people are still at risk. Attacks from allies immediately after treaties have been fulfilled. Perils surrounding us on all sides. The innate dangers that Adir has to offer. I want to provide my services. And I know it is not the right of someone of my position. My services come with a condition. There is a demon amongst us. There is a weight that sits before us. We must find a way to remedy this. We must right our wrongs to the people, all the people of Adir. If we can do this, I will stay. Elliot has given his opinions of how to do this. I don't know if that's the correct way, but it's a way that I think I'd feel more comfortable than leaving it lurking in the shadows. You decide what you is best, what you believe is best. As long as you make the right decisions, I will be here.
I will add to that if we do choose to tell the people, include that do not exclude me from this. We are one. We are three chosen, working as one. I put my trust in them, and as much so it is as much my burden as theirs. We must be one.
He's gonna sit back down. I'll let you boys take over.
If anyone else has anything they wish to discuss, they may do so now or at any other time. As for this meeting, it is concluded. I thank you all for your time. Githel, if you would ensure that Lander receives a horse and supplies, and thank him for his short but valuable service. As for the rest of you, I'm sorry for this lapse in our judgment. I will endeavor to ensure that it does not occur again. And I thank you all for offering to act as our conscience, as guidance in the unsteady times ahead.
Okay. So they all get up and leave, except for Leon, who stays behind and says, I imagine you want me to go over these with you. However, here are the reports of everything that we need to discuss. Take your time. I'll be more than happy to discuss them when you're ready. I imagine there's other matters of the states that need to be handled. And he will turn and walk out.
So if it's just us three now?
Mm-hmm.
Aurorum would stand and close the door, and then turn around and look at the others. I have an idea. We are posed with a challenge from our friends and advisors, a challenge to be better. We possess two prisoners and a moral quandary, two prisoners who have done evil, two prisoners who we cannot walk abroad for fear that they may return to Adir and cause trouble. However, we also have two boons. What if we allowed Lady Greyrus and Beltran to leave, to live their life as they will, and we merely instigate that they will be denied entrance into Adir should they attempt? Through peaceful forms, they will simply be unable to attempt. I said to you before that it is my burden to bear, these boons, this guilt. But I see now two shackles, and they weigh heavily upon my wrists. I fear that I will not be free or be able to lessen the guilt until this nightmare is over. I have erred before. This may well be me erring again. But does it not pose a solution to all our problems?
No. At this stage, whatever may be with Lady Greyrus and Beltran, the boons should not be used at this stage. I don't know whether they are a thing we should use again. However, that is maybe subject to change depending on circumstance, in which we will all obviously be involved with. I don't think using these boons, especially using them on other people, whether it be to peacefully stop them or not, I do not think this is a good idea, and I would say no to that suggestion. We do need to deal with it. I understand your need to reconcile. However, this is not the way to do it.
We cannot.
There are
take
many
the
other good
easy
things
road
we
out.
can do without it being on these two prisoners. That's in the end. That's small. We have a nation full of problems that need to be dealt with, that we can show much more with. Which leads me to also say I spoke with Lady Grayrus, and I asked her to present to us a case on why she should not be executed for the crimes she had committed against us, the selling of our own people into slavery. I've asked her to present it today, and it is something I believe the three of us must come to an agreement on. However, Beltran is another story as well. Not everything is going to be so black and white, but we can't ignore also the things that have been done against us. And I don't think that looking for atonement in that is the right thing to do. I think we should hear her out. We should discuss what she has to say, and then come to a decision on what must be done. Beltran I don't even know whether or not what we can do with Beltran, because he seems to be under some protection. So for now, until we work that part out, that's a different thing altogether. But let's have Lady Grayrus brought up and speak to her.
I think if we are to manage Beltran, Lady Grayrus needs to be involved. He seemed entirely in disbelief at the idea that she would have made a deal with us. If she was to confirm it herself, his attitude might change.
Beltran will not. He's like his father, it seems, in that way. He hates us, and his hatred will only grow. If he is to be released, it couldn't happen.
I understand your feelings and your fear, but don't be so quick to decide who can change Grishka.
I'm not deciding who can change. I'm deciding the punishment. I will have part in deciding the punishment of what we'll have to work out.
There is another thing
I'm
to
entitled.
discuss. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I didn't realize you weren't finished.
Go ahead,
yet.
Valorant. No, that's fine.
There is another thing to discuss. I visited the keep to the west and spoke with our mole friend who was there, the one who previously looked rather decrepit, but since we have kept him fed, is looking a lot better. I was able to obtain some information regarding the situation I sent word to you about. You see, the mole made the Perrin. I don't know if I've told you this before, but the Perrin were created by the mole during their height. They apparently were trying to perfect this, and the Perrin that I am, and that Perrindale, or I assume all of the Perrin that are around now, were not the final version. Apparently, they created at least 2 Perrin that were, to quote him, too right, too correct, too well done. These 2 Well, one of them, I had the name and now I'm mental blanking it. Wait, let me get it up again because I had it up on the other screen.
I actually put it in chat there for you. Nankaro and the Falusi is what they call it.
Yeah, that's what he called it, but I'm going to give the proper name. That's what I was looking up.
Venny.
Yeah.
It's here you guys go, so you can all see it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Bam.
One of which was named Venny. She has gone by many names since. The Martyr is the latest. The other was called Nankaro. And he is Momeg. They are brother and sister.
I fail to believe that the martyr is evil. At her core, she has done good.
No, I do not believe she is evil.
Perhaps we should speak to Nankaro and ask him if he means us ill. You have said that he refuses to answer directly, but perhaps he can tell us more simply. I will admit I've grown fond of him. He has been useful, helpful, a source of wisdom.
I agree.
While he may not have been the greatest moral compass, he has been there for us.
I agree. I hope he is willing to talk this time. I hoped that you being here as well might persuade him to see that it is needed. We need some sort of answer.
Well, should we speak to him first? It seems that his case has become intertwined with that of Lady Greris, at any rate.
Yes. I believe so. That's why I decided to bring it up now.
He'd look to one to get an affirmative.
I suppose. However, I think we'll need a lot of time also to think about what all this means. But in the meantime, getting a few, hopefully, answers, if he's willing, as good as place as any to start.
We can hope.
Call him by his name.
Oh, so, pardon?
You just did it, don't you?
Yeah. I'm going to call out to him, but using his actual name. So, Nankaro.
He steps into being and says, centuries before I've heard this name. Now I've heard it so many times in the past couple days.
So many times in the past couple of days.
If you haven't...
Is there someone or something controlling you?
He looks at you and shakes his head.
He's been watching.
You called to me, and here I am, as always. I'm a little occupied, but I can spare a moment.
We are looking to understand. Part of the reason why I went and sought your name is because you would not give me answers. I feared that you were trying to hide your name from us by burning the records.
It's not my name that I'm trying to hide.
You are not a being that we can subject to punishment, nor are you one of our subjects to punish. That said, you have worked with us, protected us, and the kingdom, Do you work against us now?
Never have, and I hope never to.
Could you help us understand?
What brought you to Adir?
Slavery.
Slavery.
Martyr.
And what have you done since you arrived?
Broken her chains, freed her from her slavery,
Freed
caused war, death, tried to help people.
You freed a lot of people, including the martyr. She was chained here by an old promise. Those chains have been broken. And so she's free. And doing well for herself. She was not the only one chained here by an old promise. And I'm nearly complete.
What happens when you are complete?
I'm no longer chained. And I can go about my way. Your kingdom, of course, looked favorably upon by myself.
I'm sorry, I find it... Are you suggesting to me that you will become a divinity?
I don't know all of these things. I am locked here. And I don't have all of my memories. I am locked here. But I do know what was promised and what must be fulfilled. It has been hard work this past year, and it's nearly complete. Can I look to the three of you to aid me in completing this task? Or need I continue to utilize others throughout the lands?
Raymond's going to put a hand on the hilt of his sword, and he will think about aiding the man. Or what once was a man.
What was the promise that's keeping you here?
The sword gives no empathy, if that's what you're looking for, Neil. It gives you nothing. The martyr cursed these lands, chaining herself to them, but also chaining all of her goodness from the hearts of those around, from those that she influenced that loved her. In breaking those chains, she has filled their hearts with love, with forgiveness, with a kindness that they've never known.
What does that mean?
She sought through her sacrifice to give them their freedoms. But that isn't all that needed to happen. For them to be free, they need not just have freedom, for they would have been pursued. They would have been caught. They would have been shackled. No, for them to have their freedom, they needed to be destroyed. Those that kept them needed to be removed entirely. Such a time has nearly passed. I see one major obstacle left in my way. Will you aid me, or need I turn to others?
Why did you burn the books in the library? I would like to help you. I just want to know why.
They need to be destroyed.
The mole,
All of them.
does that include us?
You're not Mull.
You are
So-
talking about a genocide.
I'm not talking about those that are known as hobgoblins today. Their culture is on the fringe of being removed. It must be destroyed. for freedom to truly exist.
I'm not sure I agree with that. Look, not erasing the past is not a good way to avoid it.
You do not live my past!
I couldn't hear what you said because you
You do not
distorted.
live my past. Sorry, my thing peaks.
In my experience, teaching if we were to teach people about the bad, they would know that you can.
I will seek help elsewhere. And he steps up and out of existence.
Well then.
He may have lived for thousands of years,
Hundreds.
but it still appears he is a petulant child. I fear now that...
Is it a petulant child when you watched all of your people be enslaved for like a long time? And you want...
it's a petulant child when you can't explain for 10 minutes longer after you've been enslaved for hundreds of years.
It's like, hey, I want to help you, but I'd like to have a discussion about it. Fuck you, I'm out.
Well, he said they all need to die. Like the culture, not the people.
Well,
the people are already dead.
yeah, he wants to erase the history of them, is what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Valorem was trying to say that erasing them won't stop that from happening again. If you're truly wanting to protect, the idea of stop that from happening to people again, protect people from the mole, you don't erase history. That's not a good way of doing that. But he wouldn't listen. Valor will probably actually just continue to explain that to the rest of them, just because he'd probably be a little bit angry right now and just need to vent.
I don't disagree that would work for the great and many, the masses. However, we know that Elliot was sent here to gather information on the mole. You may think I am biased because of my background, but I fear that were a gnome of Ustus to get this sort of information, they would not simply learn their lessons.
What is a dead civilization compared to the lives of our people and the deer? I sympathize with his reasoning. I don't. This is all beyond me. This is ironically your specialty, Valorant. Though he wishes the information destroyed, he promises protection. Why? This seems a bit much for us to make this decision. We cannot fight him as much as you may want to or believe he is a being power beyond any of us. And what he asks, I don't find unreasonable. I don't know what is hidden there. I don't know what you may find if you go digging up. But that is my thoughts. I don't.
I understand.
He has helped us several times.
He could be very
As I said,
helpful.
I am fond of him.
As am I.
He's asking us to erase an era from existence.
It goes directly against the tenets of Lady Arenda.
One of the reasons why I left Arendelle is because they erased their history. They erased the bad parts. They erased what they didn't want to be known. I had hoped to not be a part of that here.
I hate these lofty decisions. I find myself growing more and more distasteful of gods by the day. And so I shall simplify it to a simple query. Will I stand and help with my friend? I vote yes. I find more and more that I am a pathetic little creature with minimal knowledge on the world and its goings-on. I'm not in the position to make this decision, as one has said, and therefore I must simplify it down to the thing that we seem to do well. We are short-lived creatures, beings of emotion. My heart says that this Momig, Nankaro, is not a bad person. Although he may be tinged with hate, he doesn't speak of killing people, merely destroying the information on his enslavement and the creation of his people.
You will likely ask for a death.
Oh?
The keep to the west. I would like to consult with the martyr. I need to for so many things. Please give me some time.
Varen,
Yes.
the martyr does not hold me in kind regard. Roga has never spoken to me. Lady Arenda knows not of my existence. May I join you in prayer? I am finding myself in need of forgiveness. And if this is the martyr's brother, surely she will let us know the right decision. Surely she will let us know if he is to be helped.
Yes. I'm sorry. We will have to delay the meeting with Lady Graris.
That is fine. I will also seek guidance.
Each of you go and fall on your knees before your god of choice.
One will wait till they leave the
Sure,
thing because
sure,
he's got
okay.
something to say.
Okay, all right.
I got far too into it. I teared up.
I did see a little cheeky tear. That's not far too into it.
No, that's just into it enough. Jake, the door clicks shut. You wait a couple moments. They walk off.
He'll take a seat and just sit there. And he'll whisper the name. He'll say, Nankara, Momig, whatever you wish to be called.
He steps into being opposite the table where you are, pulls out a chair, and sits down. He's calm, composed again.
He's already spoken to the parent.
He just, one looks at him and says, do not forsake us so quickly. The others go to seek guidance from your sister. But like wherein put it, this is beyond us. And do we wish to help a friend? Give us some time just to get right with ourselves, those whom we serve. I understand to a degree what it is that you want, although probably not nearly enough. And one will stand up and approach him, and he'll extend a hand.
He doesn't take your hand yet. He says, "My task is nearly complete. I didn't know why it wasn't done after the burning of the books. I didn't understand why I hadn't completed it yet. And then my name was muttered more than once. And I remember a blind spot that appeared a couple months ago in my mind. A place that I cannot see, I cannot hear, and I cannot go. A place where someone might know my name. I have not forsaken you, however, I do not have time. Things need to be resolved, and Malta needs aid. Once I'm free, they will return in kind the gesture that they have done for me."
Malta, the soldiers are marching on the keep.
They will use this room to transport, same as they promised they would. You asked me for not forsaking you, then I'm going to be honest with you. I've given them a task, one that wherein would probably appreciate. They will handle the dirty work for you, and I will lend them aid in the future in their war. You will be rid of a beast that looks only to consume your citizens, and I will be rid of a curse that locks me here forever. Once that is gone, it is all done. Will you aid me now? Will you let them through? Will you give me my salvation? They seek aid from someone that does not answer. She cannot hear them. Not here.
My God, I wish wherein was here.
You heard everything that went on in this. Did you hear the meeting we just had?
I hear almost everything, almost everywhere within the borders of Adir.
I believe we will aid you. Just let me go out to the others and let us do it together. We may do it now. Just let me call out. They're not far.
Valrin's heart is heavy, and his mind is too curious. He will ask questions and feel guilt. For a beast that does not belong in this world, one that has slipped through a grasp that needs to be removed, and that grasp...
Do not count him out. Do not presume to understand him completely. He has shown us many times different qualities of himself. And one will get up and he says, for what it's worth, I will aid you in this if the other two are okay. And he will walk to the door to yell out. And he'll probably look back over his shoulder and say, seems you have a plan. All I ask is but a moment.
He'll actually place a hand on your shoulder and gently place a hand on your shoulder, and like a moment of like, it almost seems like understanding or appreciation. You're not entirely sure. And then as he takes his hand off the shoulder and he turns, he steps out of existence again.
One will go to the door, throw it open, and yell to the guards to fetch Wherein and Valrin straight away.
They're actually near enough by that they can hear you call, Wherein! Valrin! They can actually
We're like,
hear you.
oh shit! Sprint back up, expecting another fire. You know, one's on fire.
Of course, you got a lot of guards and people's attention that happen to be inside the castle for refuge. They come in. I imagine you guys like, what's going? And you shut the door behind them as they come in. Go ahead.
What's going on, Krishka?
I spoke with him. he has tasked the Maltese soldiers with killing the beast in the keep. He asked for our help. We need to do this. We need to make this decision now. Otherwise, it will be done without us.
That beast in the keep you speak of asked for my help in removing his affliction so he would no longer be that beast. He didn't want to be.
What was he before?
He was Mol.
Well, we have a decision to make, and he's granted me a moment. Do we help the one who has helped us? Or do we... I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I believe
this decision must be made now. Otherwise, I think we have a fight on our hand in a minute if you choose otherwise.
I believe Momig is a good creature at his core. He's a good person who has gone through bad things. Unfortunately, this white, this undead creature, is an evil creature at its core who is trying to do good things. I sympathize with it. Gods, perhaps I even empathize with it. That said, we offered it protection. We cannot do that one way or another. There are 100 Gish out there. Many people will die if they attempt to storm the keep, if we can even stop them. This is a time when we must lead. We will step through that door, we will speak to this white, and we will let him know that we will stop his hungering. His soul will be free. He will be free.
I cannot be a part of this. I agree that trying to stop the Maltese will only end in more deaths. I agree that going and heading it off is a better choice. I cannot be a part of this.
Valrin, there is a divide between us. If you do not come with us now, it will drive that divide further apart. I hate to ask this of you, I really do. But we are stronger together. Together, the three of us broke the curse of Adir. We freed these people. Together. I ask you once again, let us free someone else. Together. And he's going to extend a hand.
He'll take it. But he's not going to say anything else.
One will place a hand on you, on your shoulder. Kind of on your neck. And yeah, I think we should leave it there.
I'm going to say, and what happens is you see on the table the two little pieces lift up, and you feel the activation of the magic in the room. As you know, the two rooms have just connected between you and the Western Keep. I guess with that, we will leave it for next week.
Oh my god.
Oh.
That was so cruel of Wherein to do that to Val.
Yep. And I have a surprise next week for what Val's thinking. You'll just have to wait to find out what he's...
We're going to go in there and Val will be like,
Fireball.
Execute them.
No, just... You'll see.
Unlimited power. As the white tries to eat one.
I wish I could give you guys so much more information, but unfortunately I cannot yet. We're so close. We're so close to so much more information, but I can't yet. Oh well, sorry, I was the one that got distracted crazy because work blew me up like crazy. But I have to get going because I have to go to work. So let's do a very quick round robin, and then I got to bounce out of here and go get ready. So we'll start with you, Teshi Boyo. What are you up to?
Hi, I'm Tesh with the Test Tube on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Find me YouTube, Twitter for cute animal gifts. Keep up to date all the things I'm doing. Twitch for probably Division, maybe some Borderlands because I know there's expansion coming out soon. That sort of thing. And also stay tuned to my YouTube for Resident Evil 6, the jankiest game of jank. I just recorded a car chase scene in that where I was the gunner and the driver and the gunner were entirely desynced.
Nice.
And so we had no idea what the fuck was going on. It was great.
And you can find Tesh here for Kick-Ass RP.
Oh, and to think there was an opportunity there where you guys could have just let the Maltese do it, and then it would have helped Josh. Oh well. And Neil, what are you doing in 1 to 7 hours?
Hi, you're looking at the only group of PCs to have trump carded Josh within their game without daddies. You can find me in 2 hours twitch.tv/OllieRant for a Yavaskir 5e D&D game where I play Tauren Giant Slayer. He killed some giants. This is like a level 3 cleric. So tune in there for lots and lots of RP. It's like a village sim. So it's like kind of like this, but on a much smaller scale. And we don't hate ourselves after every session.
Gotta get them feels in there. And you know where to find me here in the Lost Initiative show tonight for some Star Wars. I gotta pee and I gotta go to work. So goodbye, everybody. Stay safe out there. We make lots of jokes about COVID-19, but seriously, be safe, be responsible, be reasonable. There's a lot of people's lives at stake.
Don't touch your face or your beard. Wash your hands.
Check the numbers for the confirmed deaths on this. This is no joke. So please, please, please be safe. It's one of those things where if you are sick, stay home for the love of Christ. Be one of those people in the statistic that's recovered from it versus, or one of those people in the statistic that just never had it because you stayed home sick. You know what I mean? Be smart for the sake of all of humanity. Literally, we are in a state where everybody needs your help, especially our older and our immunocompromised. So please don't be a dick. Unless you are what you eat, in which case,
don't kill me.
Well, just kidding. Of course, we love Neil. We love Neil. Without Neil, we don't have obnoxiously long speeches.